Well, good morning, everybody. My name's John Dennis, the mayor of the city of West Lafayette. And as you can see, we're a little bit out of our domain today. We're at the Humane Shelter, and we're going to be talking today about pets, cats, rats, dogs, and bats.
No
No?
bats.
No bats?
No bats.
Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hi, my name's John Dennis. I'm the mayor of the city of West Lafayette, and welcome to the Humane Shelter for yet another fun and entertaining episode of Fun with the Mayor. Thank you for the applause in the background. That was kind of like, what kind of dog was that?
That's a chihuahua.
Yeah, well, okay, like I said, what kind of dog is that? So, yeah, that's for you, Cochran. Anyway, today we are sort of having a special Fun with the Mayor opportunity. We're actually at the Humane Shelter, and we're going to be talking about some relatively serious business when it comes to our pets. And with me, I have two special guests, and if you would please, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Elisa Hostetler,
And
and I'm the veterinary technician here at the Humane Society.
that is so awesome. And you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm Stacy Rogers. I'm the executive director of the Humane Society.
Okay, we got some heavy metal here from the Humane Society. And we have another special guest. And that right there is my dog, Abbey. And Abby's actually been on an episode of Fun with the Mayor before, and that seems to be her favorite posture. Just kind of laying low. There she is. Hi, Abby. Anyway, what we're going to do today is we're actually going to do something with Abby. And it's a device that we're going to implant in her that's going to empower us to be able to have some identifiers in the event that she should ever get lost. Why don't you guys kind of tell me what we're up to?
Okay, so today we are going to microchip Abbey, and microchips are a great way to get lost pets back with their family. It's a small little transmitter about the size of a grain of rice. That goes between the shoulder blades, and we scan all of our animals upon intake, hoping to find the microchip, and then it's simply a 9 to 15 digit code that is linked with the owner's name, phone number, address, and so we can call you and say, hey, Mr. Mayor, Abby's here at the shelter, come pick her up at your earliest convenience, and it really is a great way to get animals back with their homes.
Okay, now is this relatively new technology? Obviously, this is something that we've been doing in the past, correct?
Yeah, it's been going on for several years. It's kind of gaining in popularity every single year, but it's been around for a while.
Okay, very good. Now, when animals come here, is that some of the first things that you do when you're triaging the
Yep.
animal to make sure that it doesn't belong to somebody local?
Yeah, almost the very first thing that we do, whether the animal comes in from the public or from animal control, is we scan them right away.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, we are talking about a shelter that's been very near and dear in my heart for many, many years. And we have some new leadership here, so why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on here lately?
Okay, we've been doing lots of new things. We are, of course, always promoting microchips because that's the best way to get your pet back. We're also looking at new ways to increase our adoptions by doing different adoption events, going out into the public, and then we're also trying to increase our community outreach with spay and neuter. So we have a low-cost spay-neuter program for low-income families, and they can come in and fill out an application and get their pet fixed at a much lowered cost. We've also done some big high-volume days here. We neutered 135 cats this spring for Neuter for a Nickel, and we're planning another large high-volume neuter event for November. So we're excited to try to, number one, combat the pet overpopulation problem in the communities, have fewer pets coming in, and then also increase the numbers that are going back with their owners, because our main goal is to keep the pets out there with their people who they've been with and make sure that they can stay in their homes through a variety of different ways. And if they do end up with us, we want to do our best to find them a new forever home.
And that couldn't be more important. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we do have a growing population of strays within our community. And if folks just realize that spaying or neutering your dog isn't cost prohibitive, and if it is perceived to be, there's ways that you can go ahead and help make it more affordable. Is that correct?
Yes, there are many different low-cost options in the community. There is the large spay-neuter initiative started by the state through all of the pet-friendly license plates. We have a program here, and we're happy if somebody doesn't fit into our program to help them find another resource that's going to be the right way for them, because a lot of our pets who are coming in stray are coming in because they are intact and they're wanting to get out and roam. So fixing them first is the best way to keep them at home. They don't have that desire to run. And then having a microchip for when they get here and they can go back home really helps us increase our return to owner rates, which are higher than the national average.
That is so very cool. That is so very cool. Because there's one thing that we know. We love our pets. You know, in the city of West Lafayette, we've got a very high pet population. And we have a lot of folks that are very interested in making sure that owners aren't just responsible, but they also have an understanding that sometimes their animal's behavior can be basically antisocial to the point where we need to take a little bit of action, proactive action, to make sure that that's not going to create further problems within the community. And now I think that we're going to ask Abby to be an active participant in what we're here for today. Now, does this hurt the dog at all?
It's very minimal. It's just like getting a vaccine or a blood draw. It's a tiny little needle, goes under the skin, so it shouldn't, hopefully she'll cooperate and not be a big baby, but.
Okay, Abby's 110 pounds. If she chooses to be a big baby, she wins, you know? Okay, now the fact of the matter is Abby's obviously a home dog. She's an inside house pet, and she is very well loved by her ownership. That would be me and Mary. And something else, she is very affectionate, and she's a little shy, as you can tell. So she will probably keep her head down throughout this entire process, and so that way we'll know how it actually feels from her part, because she'll react.
Yeah.
That's just how she goes. So let's go ahead and get this done. And if you could, please, why don't you just talk us through what you're doing as you're doing it. Come here, puppy.
I know. So our microchips come in a nice little package that has a set of stickers with the chip number on them, and so that's great for owners to give to veterinarians, boarding facilities, groomers, people that come in regular contact with the animal. There also comes a tag that she can wear on her collar, has the microchip number on it, also has the manufacturer's phone number. So if you find an animal that has, and they're usually yellow, that has a yellow tag, you can call the manufacturer directly instead of having to bring them into the shelter, and hopefully find the owner. And then the main part of it is the needle, and we'll get it hooked up here on our plunger. So just similar like a vaccine, it's a needle, and we're gonna hopefully poke her and she'll cooperate with us. Hi, Abby girl. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna lift up the skin and we're gonna go right under the skin, poke, inject, and done.
Now, can I tell you how proud I am of my little girl? If you'll notice, she didn't flinch a bit. And obviously, had she chose to fight, it would have taken all of us. Plus, if you got somebody in the background to go.
We would have to call in reinforcements, but she was a good girl.
Okay. Now, technically, what she has now, she has a computer chip under her skin. And how do you go about scanning that?
Well, let's join it. So now that Abby is microchipped, we have a universal scanner, and most animal shelters as well as vet clinics have a universal scanner on their facility. And so we just turn it on and we run it all over Abby's body, and there you go. Her chip number pops up on the scanner. We run that through our database, and it would pop up Mayor Dennis's phone number, and we can call him and say, hey, Abby's here at the shelter.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Now, and again, when you make that phone call, they come pick up the pet, and it returns the pet to their proper owner, which is fantastic. In the event that somebody should relocate a dog, should give the dog to another family member, is there a way to update that information so that there is...
Yes, they can always be updated with us or with the chip company. It always transfers back to the national database. And that's the most important thing, is that when people are even just changing phone numbers or addresses, that they're calling the chip company and updating their address. We just had a dog this week here whose chip linked back to Missouri, and her owner had been in Indiana, and so he was coming back for her. But the more accurate the information is, the more likely they're going to get back to you.
Excellent, excellent. And this is for dogs, cats,
Rabbits, llamas get microchipped. There's
llamas.
a variety of different species you can
So
microchip.
what's the weirdest thing you've microchipped?
A turtle.
You microchipped a turtle.
We microchipped the turtle.
Okay, I gotta ask, where?
Right under the front leg and the armpit. You can do it right under the shell, and it was interesting.
I mean, no offense, but I mean, wouldn't you think that it would take a turtle a long time to get away? I'm not saying, but...
You would think.
Okay,
But
well,
we have had our fair share of lost turtles and tortoises called in as lost reports. Because
okay.
people don't assume they can run away when they're left out in the yard, and they can eventually.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit more about spay and neuter, because that's something that's very near and dear to my heart. The program, obviously, are we getting more and more interaction with spay and neuter? Are we getting more and more people that are complying to the program?
Yes, we're getting lots of people who are interested. It's anybody who's on public assistance or meets a certain income guideline, and we try to really promote that. If someone's pet comes in stray and they're picking it up and it's been here a few days, we'll try to convince them to do the SNAP program, go ahead, get their pet fixed before it goes home, so that they aren't as likely to run and they're not creating more pets for the overpopulation problem. And of course, all the pets we adopt out from here are also already spayed and neutered. So we're just trying to really combat it both at the level of people who own pets and are maybe having trouble getting that service available to them by telling them about all of their options, and then also making sure that everything that's released from here is also altered.
And now why don't we talk a little bit about the adoption program, the desire to reach that threshold of no-kill.
Yes, we are trying very hard. The national kind of baseline for no-kill is 90% is your live release rate, which are animals that are either adopted, returned to their owner, or transferred to other groups. Right now for the year, we're sitting at 88%. We were already over that threshold last year for our dogs. We were at 94. We're still staying above 90 for our dogs, so we're trying very hard to get our cat population to that point. A lot of that is with kittens because they come in very small and they get sick much easier than what dogs do, and they're harder to bring back when they're tiny. So we are very thankful for all of the foster parents who have stepped up this year and are helping us with fostering, and the more assistance we get with that, we know that we'll be able to reach that 90% threshold, if not this year. We're hoping most definitely next year.
Okay, then what can we as a community do to try and get that number up?
Definitely spay and neuter your pets. It is
There
the
you go.
kittens
The
that
number
is,
one thing, spay and neuter your pets.
it's the
Come on,
kittens.
folks, really?
Yeah, they're the ones that really are tough for us to care for. We get lots of them in that are only a day old, maybe even hours old, and we're trying to raise them without a mother, and having their mother is their ideal situation for health. So spaying and neutering your cats, keeping them indoors where they're not out getting hit by car or hurt and injured, because at this point we don't euthanize anything for space. It's only if they're ill or if they have major behavioral issues. So really keeping the cats healthy, becoming a foster family, coming in and adopting a cat, all of that is helping us raise our live release.
Very good. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You know, oftentimes with Fun with the Mayor, we try and make things local seem global. But in today, when we're talking about our pets, talking about making sure that we're responsible pet owners, I think that we've gone beyond that scope and we're bringing things really, really close to home. So again, thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Abby, for being such a good girl. And thank you, folks, for attending yet again another fun and educational episode of Fun with the Mayor.